So let's go ahead and get a new draft on. Okay, so let's go ahead and start a new draft here. All right, guys. We're gonna be kind of talking through the basics a little bit. Oh yeah, whatever happened with that giveaway, Rain? Who won that key giveaway? Let's get started here. So we've got a pretty good opener. Treant Bronze Legionnaire is a very solid opener. The one thing about that is red-green is just a shitty color combination in draft. It's much better in constructed. The thing about red-green in draft is you really want... It's important in deck building to have a balance of proactive plays and reactive plays, right? If you draft like blue-black, you might have too reactive of a deck sometimes, depending on how it goes. If you draft green-red, you will definitely have too proactive of a deck. If you're playing constructed, it's a lot better because you're running Drow, Axe, Legion Commander. You're running, signatures that are very reactive that will kind of win a board state. So we really like Treant and Bronze Legionnaire. Those are the two highest power things here. But again, it's a bit of an issue with this color combination. We're not sure if we want to go red-green. Because typically you'll see red-greens, and this is something that all the good drafters are saying as well. Like, this isn't just like my random opinion. This red-green is something that's... It often is high value, and then you get smashed out by good decks because you just have no way of actually dealing with them. And of course, we might be able to splash like a third color here. Something like Assassin's Apprentice. These are still the two highest value cards. Red might be more of a splash in this case. I'd like to go like black. See how this works. Green is pretty good with cheating death. I mean, you never say no to that. Disciple of Nevermore is a pretty great card here. We don't really want anything else. At this point, I'd be very happy to go like 2 black, 2 green, 1 red. Let's see how that works out. And that's going to be like a pretty common formation for colors in draft, actually. So a bunch of ass here. We're not really looking for any of these. We can keep our options open with blue by picking like Tower Barrage, even like Messenger Rookery. Assassin's Veil is, I think, just not really worth it as a card. So I'll just take Fight Through the Pain over Rookery. Thunderstorm is pretty solid. So Arm the Rebellion is going to be the first pick because it's playable in green. So the question is, are we more likely to curve into blue or, have utility out of picking the Musket? Musket's always going to find a place in our deck, but Thunderstorm is a high power blue card. And there's a good chance we want to leave the blue option open. Like, this is a very good card. We've already got the Tower Barrage. Let's go for this. Honestly, our blue's not bad here. Venomancer. Oh boy. Okay, so this is the first actual decision we're getting for this draft. The first biggest one. A lot of good cards here. We've got Ogre Conscript. Not even necessarily locked into red. So our options are between Venomancer, Ogre Conscript, Better Late Than Never, Arm the Rebellion, or Selfish Cleric. Better Late Than Never isn't a good card. I didn't mean that. So it's mostly these four. We're going green for sure. We already have one Arm the Rebellion. Selfish Cleric wins over Rebellion. So Cleric, Venomancer, or Ogre Conscript. Venomancer is pretty solid here, honestly. I don't mind Venomancer at all. Venomancer is so committal here. If it was a better blue hero, I think I would take it. Or if I didn't have the option of going black instead, I think I would take it. Right now we've got basically one good card in each of the other 3 colors. We've got Bronze for red, Thunderstorm, and even Tower Barrage is quite playable for blue. Disciple for black. I mean, Venomancer is the super committal play. It basically will lock us out of either red or black, depending on the option we choose. I think it's fine to go for Venomancer here. I think it's higher value. And our blue is our second best color right now. I love to see Remusk, Disciple, Slater Duelist, even Steel Strength, all of which are great cards. Remusk Disciple is maybe just an easy pick. At the same time, black is a color that we're not necessarily going. Green for sure. And we have Bronze Legionnaire committing us to basically a similar degree as the first Disciple. Dude, 2 Disciples is so scary to pick, though. Disciple's a ridiculous card. If this was almost anything other than a Disciple, I would pretty much just double down on green, because black is just at a stage where I'm not even sure I'm going to go. But at this point, picking this Disciple, basically locking myself out of red. I think I'm going to go for the Duelist instead. There's a chance red ends up being more favorable than black with this deck. And because we've got Ramuscan Arm the Rebellion, and we do want more creep presence, I like Blade of the Vigil here. None of the rest of these cards are pretty good, which is typically what you'll expect at this stage. I like pick a fight out of these, just because if I find Timbersaw or Bristle, it actually makes the cut on my deck, whereas the rest of these will never make the cut on my deck. These are high quality blue cards though, I don't mind these at all. Compel, Zombie, and Aghanim Sanctum are all solid. Sanctum kind of falls off in draft unless you've got something, that plays for it, like, say, Zeus. It's still probably a little bit better than Zombie. Zombie is an underrated card, but I don't really want it here. Okay, so at this point, we're green-blue with either black or a red as a splash. It's also possible we go duo here. Cover of Night is technically playable. My favorite kind of playable. There's so Ursa is good enough to be played. The problem with Ursa is he scales with the amount of red heroes you have, because his Enrage can only be used on red heroes, and it's very situational. So Ursa is a card where you want to run it with like 3 red heroes. Enrage is similar to like Sucker Punch in that way. Unfortunately, we're probably running at most 1 red hero. So I kind of dislike Ursa here. Soul of Spring is kind of the first pick, and then you've got Selfish Cleric, you've got Hipfire. Diabolic Revelation is somewhat playable. I think I'd like just going into either Selfish Cleric or Hourglass here. Soul of Spring is just a ridiculous card because this triggers itself on the first play. You've also got the Hipfire, which is powerful, but again, we're not necessarily committed into black yet. So we're not going Hipfire here. Dude, Spring Cleric is so good. Hourglass is fairly nuts in this mode if you get a little bit of gold going. And we do have the kind of build that will be able to get enough early game presence for gold. I think we'll go Soul Hourglass though. Hellbear is unironically a solid card in draft. Call the Reserves is okay. I do like Hellbear better. I mean, at this point, we keep getting offered basically an equal distribution of decent red cards and decent black cards. Like, a second Bronze Legionnaire is nuts. We got Disciple to pair with a Gloaty, which is also solid. But we're still not really able to really commit to either. At this point, we have to take the Hellbear, and we have to combine it with one of the other cards, because I'm not taking Call to Reserves here, I think. Ventriloquy is even playable with Venomancer as well, but we already have one, so I don't really favor the other. So the question is, do we want to open ourselves up to black or red more? Well, we've got Bronze Legionnaire already compared to Disciple. Probably not playing the rest of these cards in other categories. I mean, our reds are technically stronger with something like double Bronze Legionnaire. I think I like Bronze Legionnaire, honestly. We want a 3rd flop hero anyway. Okay, let's go for it. Defend the Weak is quite playable. Got some good blue options. I don't even mind Troll Soothsayer. We got the Sanctum, so draw power kind of curves real well with that. Arcane Assault is not even bad either. Great blue options for this deck so far. The Magicking Maul and Bracers are both like actual cards as well. Yo, this was a good pack. Who let this pack through? I wonder what these 4 cards were. So Sanctum, Troll, Maul, Bracers, Defend the Weak. So at this point, we're going to kind of look through ratios. It's still like a little bit early for that to be the biggest factor, but we do have a lot more blue than green. 2 buying times on a strafing run, which we're never going to run, compared to all of these green cards, which we are running, means effectively we end up with more green than blue right now. Although we kind of have equal odds of going 3 of each color. I think it's more likely we're going 3 green, so Defend the Weak ends up kind of being better for our curve. 1 item. So the Magicking Maul is still fine. I'm never like ridiculously happy to see this card, but it's, okay, that's a lie. Sometimes I am actually ridiculously happy to see the Magicking Maul. I actually picking Troll Soothsayer. We've got like a good deck for Defend the Weak too. Sorry, Maul. Oh, that's nuts. How does an Enchantress make it halfway through a pack? Like 3 different people passed up this Enchantress. How? Okay. We could run Revelation here. Revelation is actually cute synergy with Treant Protector, as well as even Enchantress. Because the armor from Treant will protect against the damage from Diabolic. So this is actually a good chance we end up running that card. And one for me is playable. These other cards are kind of not. Okay, very good draft going on. We don't need Abaddon. Second Thunderstorm is legit, but we're going to go ahead and lock down the Blink Dagger while we have the option. Cunning Plan is very, very good with Venomancer, because we need ways to just keep our Venomancer alive reliably. So it's between Cunning Plan and the second Thunderstorm. We got 2 Tower Barrages already. Thunderstorm is a very, very good card. I don't think I can pass up this Thunderstorm, but Cunning Plan is very ridiculous with Venomancer. Like, we already do have a Compel and a Ventriloquy. It might be okay passing up the Cunning Plan here, especially if we get like a 3rd one of those. I'll take a second Thunderstorm. We need a second blue hero though, is the biggest issue. I love a Stone Hall with our blue heroes. Selfish Cleric is great here as well. Don't really need Rookery or Bolt with a deck like this. Looks pretty good. Are we duo color? This might end up being a duo deck, which we're very happy to see. I think one of the most important things to understand is like good draft players go tricolor very often, I think. Hyped probably does it the most. He says he goes tricolor like 75% of the time. I go tricolor like maybe about 70% of the time. A lot of other like top players go tricolor about like 40 to 50% of the time. But at the same time, if you have an option to go duo, you take it. Duo is better than tri if you're getting a good draft, right? Like, it's kind of like a luxury decision. If you've got the option to go duo and like not have just terrible card quality, then you go ahead and do it. I guess I'll take a Stonehall Pike over Realm Investments here. Second Treant Protector. Jesus. And then like worst case scenario, we end up with a Jemai. Yo, I'll take a second Treant Protector. Are you kidding? I don't care. Dude, that's so good. We're not going Bassy in the stack. Ventriloquy might actually find a place, honestly. Just because we have Venomancer. Especially if we draft like this. Oh my god. Yo! So now all we need is just like one good second blue hero. I'd love to see a Zeus. Yeah, worth a try. Yo, thanks for the sub, Vrail93. As a big theory crafter and deck builder, how do you feel about Constructed being undermined so much? Huge turnoff at first. That being said, I mean, I'm usually into draft modes. Like in Gwent, I couldn't really get into draft because of like the quality. I think Constructed and Artifact will be better when they add more cards, but I mean, it's pretty disappointing right now. That being said, as long as they do something about like the entry fee for drafts, I think it'll be fun. Because like in 1 or 2 more sets, Constructed will be a lot better. So the question is, what do we do about this? With this card quality in blue, we can't go another color. Like we're locked into a second blue here. Cleric Assault feels just good. I will say, this is part of the reason I kind of don't like Duo, though. It ends up being just a little bit risky. Like, if I have to run a Jamoy here and then end up, like, passing up just good card quality options. Because, like, when you go Duo, maybe you're getting a good draft, right? You're getting a good draft. You lock yourself into Duo. You're at, like, pack 4, pack 5, like we are now. And then you just start seeing kind of, like, either garbage or stuff that doesn't fit your colors. Like, we just saw some really good black cards that we couldn't take because we kind of locked ourselves into Duo. Because there's no way we can really run, like, one blue hero with this. I don't think. It's possible, but it's really awkward with these 3 Thunderstorms. I like Foresight with this for sure. Foresight Rebel Decoy feels very good. Last consideration is Blade of the Vigil, which we just don't need here. Okay. Good blue hero. 3 Selfish Clerics already. So here we've got the Intimidation. We're not taking a second Defend the Weak, so it's between Zombie, Cleric, and Intimidation. Zombie is a great stall tool, which I don't think we need with this deck. I'd love to see a Cleric Intimidation. We need some more green cards anyway. At this point, we can kind of start considering, like, building the deck a little bit in our heads, trying to get the ratios right. But honestly, I think Cleric and Intimidation just kind of outclass Zombie to the point where there's not too much of a reason for that. Like, I think I'll just take them here. See, this is just stuff like this. And it's just, it is very simply too late to go Sniper. Like, we do not have the option to here. We're just playing him with, like, Disciple and Cover of Night. If we were, like, in pack 4, we could curve for Sniper here. But even then, we've got such high card quality in blue that I don't really mind running a worse blue hero in the form of something like Jamoy. It feels like a punish for going dual color, though. So that's the biggest question. The biggest question is Meepo better than Jamoy? Are we running a Meepo deck? Yo, wait. Is this it? Dude, you guys think Meepo is bad? Meepo is nuts. Sometimes. Here's the thing. Meepo is crazy if you can keep him alive. This is the ideal draft for Meepo. We got like Compel, Ventriloquy, Keep Stuff Alive, Diabolic Revelation, kill our Meepo. We got like Enchant Double Tree. This Meepo is not dying. Four Selfish Clerics. I don't think we're going to use all 4 of those. Cheating Death, keep Meepo alive. Yo, this is actually an insane draft. Meepo is so good. I'm going to show you guys the power. The unbridled power of Meepo. Everyone's sleeping on this card so hard. Tower Barrage. But we've got like so many Thunderstorms. We're going to have to make some serious cuts here. Too many good cards. Rebel over Musk is so good. And one for me probably has to be a cut. We'll put it in for now. Different people kind of do different styles. I personally kind of like just putting everything in and then cutting afterwards. But some people like put it up to like 37 with the auto includes and then just fill the last 3. Don't need defensive bloom here. There's actually consideration for running the second Ventriloquy. So let's start looking at what we're working with here. So we've got 44 cards. We're gonna have to cut 4 from our 44 playables. And we don't really have any blue cards to play on turn 1. So I think this deploy actually looks fairly good. Just literally Enchantress double treant flop. Diabolic is probably going to stay on our deck, for sure. 2 Tower Barrages plus 3 Thunderstorms is definitely too much. We don't want that. I think one of the Tower Barrages can probably go. 2 Ventriloquies might actually be good here, just because we have Venomancer and Meepo, and both of which very much need to be kept alive. Could cut down to like 1 Ventriloquy, though. Very heavy on the 4s, but, you know, that's Artifact, right? You just jam all the 4-mana cards in. Move your face. Oh yeah, my face is in a very unfortunate spot. Need 3 more cuts. Okay, let's go 1 Ventriloquy. And 1 for me kind of sucks in draft. Like, the opponent usually just ends up with a bunch of cheap items, and we're not getting gold with this deck either. I think I'll cut the N1 for me. Don't really need it here. And now it's just between this last cut. All of our green cards are good. We can look at our ratio. We've got 23 and 18. Don't mind cutting like one of our blues. We can honestly cut the other Tower Barrage. Tower Barrage is a pretty legitimate card, but our blue heroes might have a hard time staying alive, and we've got 3 Thunderstorms for later anyway. Arcane Assault, additionally, might not be a 2 of. Nothing really wrong with the card. I think it's more likely we cut down 1 Assault than Tower Barrage. So when you're looking at initiative cards, you look at, you know, how many ways you can capitalize off of initiative, right? Right now, using something like a Thunderstorm or Intimidation with initiative isn't bad, but we don't really have a lot of like reliable ways to capitalize off initiative, so I like just cutting out one assault there. This deck looks pretty good. So our ratios are fine. Let's go to items. So we just put an Hourglass, Stone Hall, Double Cloak. So those are our 4 health items. We got Blink Dagger for some. God, how the fuck do we get a Blink Dagger? Stone Hall Cloak. 2 items remaining. Don't mind going like 1 Ramusk Vestments and then like a Short Sword. So something that just like happens in draft a lot is your item deck will very often be like 4 weapons, 4 health items, and then like 1 armor item. This is like a pretty common occurrence. Yeah, this just looks good, honestly, right? Don't we just punch this? I mean, what more could we possibly want here? Yeah, this deck looks amazing. Let's go. Ooh. Okay, guys. Meepo.